everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. It's Tuesday, November 12th. Wow, it feels like January here in Minnesota. I woke up this morning, took my son to school, and it was 6 degrees outside. I'm not even lying. That's really cold for November. Usually this time it's in the 50s. Not today. Today it's like all about the 40s. So we are going to jump into an update on Ronnie Ortiz Magro and Jen Harley, a topic that many of you have been patiently waiting for. I apologize, it's taken me so long to get you guys updated on this topic. I have been clearly knee deep in other things lately in the teen mom world, but slowly getting back to regularly scheduled content. So if you are living under a rock, you don't know that Ronnie Magro-Ortiz or Ortiz Magro was arrested in Los Angeles, California in October on suspicion of domestic violence. The altercation took place at an Airbnb that he and his then girlfriend Jen Harley were staying at with their daughter, Adriana. Is that her name? Yeah. And it's been a long day. So during the night, they were there for a launch party for his new line of CBD products. And it was after that party, one that he had been on Instagram, live posting, drinking, seemingly having fun. And it was interesting because he had been proclaiming for months that he had been sober. He actually went to rehab in the spring of 2019 after some altercations again with Jen Harley over Christmas and New Year's that landed with Jen getting charged with domestic violence, which was then later dropped. Well, these ones that were actually added had to do with Ronnie chasing her down the street of the Airbnb neighborhood with allegedly carrying a knife and then taking his daughter and locking himself in the house while Jen attempted to get help. Neighbors and witnesses at the scene saw altercations happening between the two adults. And when officers arrived, he was so agitated, they had to tase him to calm him down because he was resisting arrest and would not open the door. Yikes. The initial charges were kidnapping. They were later reduced, and now the Los Angeles City's Attorney's Office, they actually told Radar Online that he is charged with corporal injury to a spouse or intimate partner, brandishing a firearm or deadly weapon, willful child endangerment, false imprisonment, and 2 counts of resisting arrest and criminal threats. So he is facing 7 misdemeanors. Each one of those carries up to a year in prison, and if he were convicted of all 7, he could spend up to 7 years behind bars. Yikes. And those aren't even Fs. Those are just Ms. In the criminal case, they're Fs. They're not even Fs, they're Ms. Little M's like that. All right. Not funny, but it is, well, not funny. I was just being funny. Sorry. Anyways, sometimes we deal with such tough topics here. I can't help but laugh. Okay. So, following all of this, he was in court last week, and on Friday, he pleaded not guilty to all the charges. Now, during this hearing, an interesting thing happened. The city prosecutor actually filed a new restraining order against Ronnie on behalf of Jen Harley and their daughter. And it was granted. Now, she had previously dismissed or not shown up to court related to another one, so it's not known why now the prosecutors are adding a no contact order, but he now cannot have contact with Jen, nor can he have contact with his daughter, which has prompted him to post a bunch of stuff on social media, seemingly throwing shade at her and blaming her for what happened. Admittedly, these two have been involved in a very back and forth relationship. They have had many altercations where the cops have been involved and called. Jen has had multiple arrests for DV, although I should point out and note that all of her charges related to that have been dropped. So she's never been convicted of them. People speculate, and Ronnie has had a long history with drugs and alcohol. There was discussion that on the night of the arrest, Jen was saying that he was using nose candy along with drinking and people were saying that Jen was intoxicated. Either way, whatever happened that night was too much, and people had to intervene and call the police. So according to Dina, his castmate from Jersey Shore, she actually told the Hollywood Life that he's handling the situation the best he can. And he said, Jen and Ron both love their daughter so much, Dina said. And I just hope that they do the right thing for their daughter. And at the end of the day, he's our family and I'll always have his back. I don't want to say I'm worried because we're all there for him. He knows he can lean on us with anything. He's doing the best he can. See, here's what I don't like about these sort of statements. Now, I understand when you have friends that are involved in these sort of altercations, like you want to be supportive, but at the same time, this is literally the third girlfriend that he's had these sort of issues with. I'm not giving Jen necessarily like a pass here because her behavior has been equally as terrible. I mean, she threw an ashtray at his head and she's dragged him from a car. I mean, it's a mess. This relationship was a mess. But that doesn't necessarily explain the relationships he's had in the past. One of his exes, Malika, she, friends with Khloe Kardashian, stated that his love language was physical violence and, well, something like that. And he had a very physical relationship with Sammy from the Jersey Shore. And when you have 3 relationships with 3 different women and there's seemingly DV in all of them and you are the one part of that, it could be that you yourself are bringing that into a relationship. And in addition to that, it could be the abuse of the alcohol and the drugs. So I wish these cast members would stand up a little bit more against this sort of behavior. I understand you want to protect your friends, but at the same time, I think it would be appropriate to say something that is like, hey, we really worry about the girl, the baby, because she's really the one that's here, right? So Ronnie can now not see his daughter and he cannot talk to Jen. This has prompted Ronnie to sort of blame Jen and everyone else for his problems. Are we sensing a pattern here? Anytime somebody gets into a situation like this, it seems that the cast member of MTV seemingly blames everyone else but themselves and throws the shade everywhere in every single direction. Because here's what he's saying on Instagram. He said, today he literally just posted this morning. If you walked away from a toxic, negative, abusive, one-sided, dead-end, low vibrational relationship or friendship, you won. And then he wrote, Dad, I misses you, my whole world. He also shared, you're stronger than you believe. You don't let fear own you, own yourself. And then this is the one that really bothers me because like he's the one that's literally in trouble right now. And this is his message. And this was shortly after everything went down in court. He wrote, I forgive you, but stay the F out of my life. And he said, everyone say it with me. And then he posted this where he says, no matter what happens, what you're going through, Daddy will always be there holding your hand, by your side holding your hand. So clearly he misses his daughter. And then he shared this morning as well. I love being a dad. And so he's clearly missing his daughter, faced with what's going on in California with the ramifications of what has happened. And being that he was previously in therapy and in a treatment facility this past summer or spring for drugs and alcohol, and the night in question involved those same things, it would seem that he may have fallen off the wagon. Maybe he was never really sober to begin with. It's hard to know. But it seems like one of the common denominators in all of these fights is alcohol. And I think there's been some issues and some speculation that Jen too is quite the partier. And a lot of people wondering, like, if he's trying to get sober, why is she enabling the behavior or going out with him or, drinking around him? But in this specific case, there were no charges brought up against Jen. So we have to look at her as the victim and Ronnie is the one that's being prosecuted. If this is what it takes to get these two separated, I am all for it, because the back and forth with them has been intense. The amount of arrests and fights has been immense, and the back and forth and the mudslinging on social media has been awful. And if this no contact order will keep them away from one another, I really hope it does. I hope that he can stay quiet, because these types of comments that he's putting on Instagram are not good in terms of his case. If he wants to appear remorseful or even appear like he's maturing, telling, your ex to F off and get out of my face and don't come back kind of stuff, that doesn't show growth. It actually shows a level of immaturity. So, and again, he's on Jersey Shore, which is on MTV, and MTV has said nothing, nada about this arrest. So again, MTV loses and wins in the money bags, because I'm sure anything related to this will be on whatever season comes up next of Jersey Shore, which, by the way, was off the air for a number of years, and MTV brought back on the air for Family Vacation, and now all of them are in their 30s. Mike is approaching 40, I think, if he's not 40, and so is Polly. Polly's almost 42. And so you're looking at a bunch of people that are now approaching middle age, well into the childbearing years. Many of them have kids, and we're watching them with, doing what they were doing before, the same antics, the fighting, the arguing, the throwing the wine, the intense amount of drinking. At some point in time, we have to wonder, why are we watching this? Because most of my friends, and I am around the same age as these people are, don't do what they're doing on these shows. I don't know very many people that are acting like this at this age, because, raising kids, you have to get up in the morning and you can't be all hungover and stuff. So again, MTV fuels it and provides them really comfortable lifestyles. I was just on Instagram looking at Vinny, for instance, and he had come home from a trip. I don't remember where he was. Maybe he was going to Vegas or something. And it was inside of his home, and his home is a freaking mansion. I mean, it's massive, which made me realize these people are making so much money off of literally just going out and partying. That's what they're known for. That's crazy to me. And now they're all in their late 30s. Well, not all of them, but many of them are in their late 30s. It's crazy. All right, MTV. MTV is losing in the category in terms of quality entertainment, and seemingly doesn't want to have a reputation for more than just glorifying teen pregnancy and making people that have spit crotch fruit out of their legs famous. And not to say that women that have children aren't amazing, but if that's your claim to fame, I don't know, shouldn't we all be famous? And then people that drink and get drunk. Yay, MTV. All right, you guys, so this is the update. He has a court date. Actually, he's in court for a pretrial hearing today. Not expected for a lot to go down, but we'll see how this case plays out. And if you guys have other things that you want me to cover, but I hope this helps you understand where we're at with the current case with Ronnie and with Jen Harley. Jen has been completely silent on Instagram. She has not said anything about Ronnie, and rather just seems focused on taking care of her daughter, and she's working some of her businesses. She's been putting up promotional videos, modeling different clothing, and not really getting into drama right now. So maybe the two of them being separate is a good thing for everyone involved, especially their little girl. Because at the end of the day, it's the little girl that didn't get to choose who her parents were. All right, you guys, I'll be back in a little while. Bye.